NFL on EA Sports.
As we head towards kickoff, two quarterbacks will be on the field today trying to push their team to victory. It's Tyrod Taylor's Bills going up against McCown's Jets.
Thank you, Larry. Coming to you from just off the New Jersey Turnpike in East Rutherford. We are just about set for football on EA Sports from MetLife Stadium. A few minutes ago, the hometown Jets were introduced to this sellout crowd, and it's a roar that could be heard across the river in Manhattan. They're set to go as their Jets will match up with the Buffalo Bills. The first 2 months of the regular season down. What will the final two bring us as we're off in Week 9? And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. So here come the Bills on offense for the first time. Leading them out in his 7th year now out of Virginia Tech, Tyrod Taylor.
In his 2 years as a starting quarterback in Buffalo, he had over 1,100 yards on the ground, so we know that he can scoot. But don't underestimate his right arm either. 37 touchdown passes and just 12 interceptions in those 2 seasons.
Here's the first carry for LaShawn McCoy. He finds an opening past the 40. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of 17 on that one and a Bills first down. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, where that continuity is there, and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
Well, let's take a look here at the Bills' offense.
I know I'm not supposed to be biased, but LaShawn McCoy is one of my favorite running backs in the game. Vision, elusiveness, creativity, can take nothing and turn it into something, catches the ball out of the backfield, and runs with that supreme arrogance that running backs have, the best runs in the game, thinks that no one can stop him, and at the end of a run, or drop a shoulder and get extra yardage.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1. And a look now at how the Jets line up defensively.
I was a fan of Morris Claiborne's coming out of LSU. I thought he was exactly what you were looking for in the NFL in a cornerback. Long, ability to run, willing to play against the run and tackle as well. His biggest issue, staying healthy in the NFL. When so, he ends up having big years. Now he gets that great opportunity to play on in New York.
On 3rd and 1, it's Taylor. And this is going to be incomplete.
You absolutely have to have this early on, right? 3rd and short, they elect to throw for it, and that's normal NFL football. They're going to throw on 3rd and short, but you've got to hit it, don't you?
Yeah, in the first quarter, like you said, to set the tone, can't connect there. And just a single punt for him in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And this will depend on the spot as it sails out of bounds. And they'll say it sailed out at the 10-yard line. And New York set to take the field. McCown now on first down. That's complete over the middle to Anderson. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Charles, Thursday night game, I think a lot of teams probably say shrink the playbook somewhat. Is that correct?
I think you're right about that because you just don't have the amount of time that you have in a normal week to put in a full playbook. So as you said, you shrink the playbook. Pick out the plays that work best for you. You know what else you're looking for?
What's that?
Who are the freshest guys coming off the last game to play on a Thursday night? Guys have a little extra pep in their step. You go to them early and often.
These are his numbers from last week's contest. 5 catches, 61 yards.
And I don't know about you, partner, but if anybody ranks me in the top 10 in anything, I'm really happy. And that's exactly where he is now, number 10 in the league in receiving yards.
And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Well, that run right there was an offensive line coach's dream, wasn't it? Guys picked up all of their assignments, created a nice gap for the running back to get through, pick up 7 yards. Yeah, he's probably chortling on the headset right now saying, we got it going, boys. Let's keep it going.
They'll run again. Again, it's Powell. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
McCown going to hand this one off to Powell. And he's going to be stopped up quickly here. Just a yard up to the 39.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. Now they'll throw with McCown. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
Used to have a coach who used to tell us all the time, those scouting reports aren't just to use up paper, guys. Well, nowadays, you know, we're watching a computer screen, right? They scouted this team very well. Know that they like to use the running backs in the passing game. They covered that play successfully.
Now McCown. Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Thrown back across his body. Picked off by Marcus Gilchrist. And here we get a look at Stewart down on the ground still. Hope this isn't anything serious. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. After the interception, here's Taylor. And the Jets pressure too much as down he goes. And their inaugural sack of the game coming from an unlikely source.
You mean it wasn't a linebacker? It wasn't a defensive end?
It was somebody like you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a surprise for the offense. That's not what they normally get when they think about pressure.
And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing him further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 0-0 our score, and we will return to MetLife Stadium after this.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter about to get underway with the Bills in possession. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up.
Here we go!
Out of the gun, it's Taylor. And some room to maneuver. And he slides to avoid the hit. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Here's Colton Schmidt now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. The Jets offensive unit ready to get going here. That opening drive ended with the INT. It didn't lead to points, but still not the way they were hoping to begin the game.
But how about going and telling your defense, thank you, a huge thank you. You said it didn't lead to points, stalled off that drive. Now they've got a chance to redeem themselves and maybe reward their defense a little bit by putting some points on the board on this one. That was well defended, and while it was a completion, it resulted in a loss of yardage. It's really, really hard for a running back to think to himself, I probably should have just dropped it and saved the yardage. It goes against the entire training that he's had his whole career.
Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. First down and 10 now for the offensive group.
Let's go! Blue 90! Blue 90!
McCown looking to throw. Safarian Jenkins has it. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Another nice gain, 16 yards there, and a first down again.
I don't know whether I want to be a fly on the wall or not when they hear the explanation of how one of the bigger targets on the field, the tight end, can be that wide open and uncovered downfield. Who blew that assignment?
Somebody did.
No doubt about it. There's no way you're not going to account for him.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They got to feel pretty good about that one.
And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish.
Here we go now.
From the gun on third, McCown throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. It's an 8-yard pickup and leads to a new set of downs.
It's a nice job hitting him on the angle route there. Come out the backfield, cutting sharply across the middle. And that's good timing between the quarterback and his receiver.
Effective third down play to move the chains.
Here we go now. Green 39.
Throwing on first is McCown. Throwing the slant pattern here, complete. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. It's McCown again. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he'll lose yardage here. Going down back at the 28. It's a loss of 2. Now third down. 2 minutes remain in a scoreless first half. We'll come back to MetLife Stadium after this short timeout. A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll have Larry Ridley's highlights, but points obviously hard to come by in this first half. Larry will be in Orlando with our halftime report in about 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, he and his staff, they're putting together nothing but defensive highlights from the first half, and there's nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned.
He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
There are a lot of tough routes to try and cover. When you see a runner come out of the backfield and run this angle route, looks like they're going to the flat, and then they put their foot in the ground and cut back.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Shaq Lawson in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field, down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding the 3 points. They want to push you back and try and take you out of that.
The Jets on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Working from the gun, McCown. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow them to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let them get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. So they get 3. They were hoping for 6. An unlucky number 13 play drive.
Well, you go to the sideline after putting 3 points on the board, happy, but you wanted to be ecstatic. You wanted to have 6 on the board. On the opposite sideline, though, the defense, I think they're high-fiving each other, only giving up 3 after letting them run that much offense.
The Bills offense coming out, ready to take over. And this is their 3rd drive. Maybe the focus right now not so much on points, but getting their first down.
And when you start off a game, you don't even think that's an issue, do you? But you go a drive, a second drive, no first down, that becomes an issue. Now you got to think about, okay, what type of play calling do I have to do to get us in a spot to pick that first one up?
And avoids the contact by sliding. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. As the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1.
Here we go. Brand 38. Brand 38.
Now Taylor to throw on 2nd down. Looking right side, and that's complete to Watkins. And he's brought down, but not before getting across midfield to the 45. Now the Bills will use the 2nd of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. On 1st down, it's Taylor. And he'll check this one down to McCoy. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. Call it a pickup of 7, and it'll make it a 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
Open man is Holmes. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit. This is a 49-yard attempt. Right hash. And this is just outside the right upright. It's no good. So we've hit halftime here at MetLife Stadium with the home team, the Jets, leading this one. As we'll send you down the coast to Orlando, where we check in with our friend Larry Ridley and the EA. Well, Larry, I know it's late there in Orlando. This is a school night. Folks eager to get right back to the action here in the 3rd quarter. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. Here's the Jet offense now. They head out to take over. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had an ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side, but for lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a...
And now look at him go. And all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Bilal Powell, his first touchdown on the year. And the Jets are going to add on to their lead. Well, he's used to running it that distance. Here he had to catch it, too, before making the run. Heck of a play for the score.
There's not many things better for an offense than a back who is a complete guy who can run it and catch it. And we just saw him complete a big-time play for a touchdown.
Here's Chandler Catanzaro for the extra point. It's up and good, and that'll increase their lead to 10-zip. That drive started on their own 25. 2 plays, 75 yards later, into the end zone. Catanzaro out now as he'll kick this one away. Gets fielded in the end zone. Well, some might have returned that one. He won't. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start the drive from the 25. So here's the Bills offense now. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10.
They'll be taken down. The Jets get in there for the sack. Muhammad Wilkerson in there to sack him for a loss of 6.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. Quarterback was hit.
It's caught. Reception by Holmes. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
In recent years, the slot receivers really gained stature in the NFL because they can do so many things. Yes, they can line up wide like your normal wide receiver, but to have that kind of courage and toughness to run routes in the middle of the field and become dependable targets for their quarterbacks and move the sticks, those guys are worth their weight in gold.
Oh, wide open, complete. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Buffalo touchdown. Corey Brown, 76 yards. And the Bills draw a bit closer. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Gets fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Jets offense about set to take over as they head onto the field. They were able to extend their lead with an opening drive touchdown here in the third quarter, but that just got matched a moment ago.
So we know that what they discussed at the half worked. Now, what are the counters to that, right? You don't just run the same things over and over. Some do, but many will also show something and then come back with something else to keep the defense off balance. Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Over the middle, complete. That's Anderson. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. The Jets on third down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 4.
Gun! Hurry up, here we go. Green, 39.
McCown going to throw. And he's got a noon one. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
Here's McCown out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. A gain of 4 on the play, and that'll make it a second down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Again, it's McCown. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides, where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Well, you know a coach said that, right?
Yeah. Not
an actual player? No chance at all. Way easier said than done.
And the Bills Bills getting set to go.
Last time they were out here, they had the benefit of good field position, led to a touchdown. This time, they're going to have to work for it.
They are, but with that last drive that culminated in a touchdown, I think they carry that confidence into this one. Doesn't matter where you start with the football now, they have to feel great about their opportunity.
And he will forge his way forward only up to the 2-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right, he's pretty much been completely neutralized.
And an alley to run. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. That good for 19 and a first down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
It's really come into vogue to talk about the different gaps that the defense tries to attack in an offensive line. And most of the time we're talking about blitzes. How many times have you heard double A-gap blitz? Well, where is the A-gap? It's the space between the center and the guards, either side. So when you're having a double A-gap blitz, that's two guys coming through that gap. In this situation, though, that A-gap wasn't open for the defense to exploit. The offensive line took care of it, protected it, and moved the defensive guys out of the way to allow for that nice run.
1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal separating these two teams as we get set for the fourth quarter.
Here we go.
Now they'll throw with Taylor. Wide open is Watkins. He's got him. And he takes this one all the way across midfield into enemy territory down to the 40-yard line. A good pickup there at 22. Both teams working on short rest, but this has been one of the better Thursday night games we've seen as they come up here on 1st and 10. Here's Taylor to throw. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. Dropped at the 35, but he was able to display the agility there. Call it a gain of 5, and that'll make it 2nd down. He's already proven to be a factor in the running game on this drive. Now he gets involved in the passing game.
I think what we're seeing here is the modern version of workhorse in the NFL, being able to run it and catch it with equal proficiency.
Space to run past the 20, and he carries this one all the way down to the 9. A very solid gain of 27. So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. Now McCoy. He pushes forward for maybe 3 down to the 6-yard line. Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down. Now they try the right side here. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here, not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
And he's going to go down. Sacked back at the 13-yard line. Now a stoppage here as we've got a Bill shaken up on the play. We'll check on his status when we get back. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. And Hauschka's kick is good. And the Bills have tied the game here in the 4th. I tell you, the life of a kicker. He has not been called on the entire game. He's over there by the net, but they send him out here in the 4th quarter and say, hey, go tie the game, will you? And guess what? He comes through.
I just don't know how they do it. I really don't. These cats are a different breed from you and me. That's a pressure kick, but that one was never in doubt.
And the Jets set to take the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
McCown. And the Bills are going to get him as he goes down.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
McCown throwing on 2nd. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
On 3rd and long, it's McCown. And Marshall's got it. Accelerating, and off he goes. And all the way down to the 26. It's a big play there for the Jets on 3rd. 56 yards. Time for a break. We'll come back and see how it all shakes out after this. So it's Jets football as we get you reset here. They've got it 1st and 10 as they search for a go-ahead score. And the offense lining up 1st and 10. This is the running back, Powell. And down inside the 15 he goes. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another 1st down.
But they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
They go again with Powell. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. And now the Bills are going to stop it as they call a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. Back to throw, McCown. And this will be caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Jets.
Score deserves our respect, deserves our excitement. But I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking there's a long way to go in this one.
Ideally, they would have liked to milk a little bit more time off. Now on the other sideline, you start to get the crew together and say, this is what we practiced the 2-minute drill for, right?
Yeah, you hope you've been in that situation before, and if you haven't, you just have the confidence, hey, let's go down there and get this thing done. But boy, that's a big score right there to give them the advantage.
Point after now from Catanzaro. He's got it as they go up by a total of 17-10. So the drive there took 6 plays, and it's finished off by a New York Jets touchdown. Catanzaro out now as he'll kick this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Bills offense gets ready to head back onto the field. They're down here in a one-score game. At the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late-game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Well, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
Back to throw. Caught on the right side by Jones. A good pick up there of 20 yards. That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
They'll look to throw. Room here to run. It's a gain of 7, and it'll be second down. Taylor going to try and hurry him to the line. Back to throw. It's complete to Brown, right side. And he's going to get this one down right to the edge of the red zone of the chalk of the 20. Now here's a timeout defensively. Defensive timeout called by the Jets. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. He's back to throw. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Now the Bills will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop him with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. They come out here in the eye. Now a first down carry here for McCoy. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Buffalo. LeSean McCoy with time running out. And the Bills are an extra point away from tying the football game. So getting the big touchdown they needed late in the 4th. Now what do? You conservative and just tie it up?
No, I think you put your practice into game situation. Go as fast as possible. You already have your play call ready to go. Go for 2 and decide it right now.
This is taken at his 4. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Now the Jets offense gets ready to head back on the field. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. A tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk-reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. And almost intercepted. It would have been his second pick of the game. Instead, it'll be second down. Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball, if it arrives, it surprises you. That may have happened to him in that situation.
And that is incomplete. Down to 15 seconds now. Again, they were targeting Marshall there, and it's third down.
Now we're in the situation where the quarterback's got to take full charge of his huddle. Got to totally command it, make sure all eyes are on him. All focus is locked in. Going to call multiple plays and go over different situations and scenarios to make sure everyone is on the same page.
And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. This defense looking impenetrable now. 3 straight incompletions. They're giving him nowhere to go with the football. Maybe a little frustrated back there?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you've missed on 3 straight, there's going to be some frustration. But now he's got to make sure that frustration is temporary, not lingering. Big throw coming up.
And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback.
Here we go.
Now Taylor going to hand this one off to McCoy. And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. And we need overtime to decide this one after 4 quarters of play. We're all even. The extra session in a moment. This is the NFL on EA Sports. It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
This one fielded at the 5. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And New York set to take the field. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
Yeah, as we said, they control their own destiny now. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. Well, that play was doomed right from the start.
They just about ran into every defender on that one, didn't he? It felt like everyone got a piece of that tackle.
McCown to throw on 3rd and 2. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete. Just looking down at this with a naked eye, looks like they have about 1.5 yards. Any chance they go for it here?
There's a chance, but I have to say, punt the ball here. Get rid of this thing and try and help your defense a little bit. I know there's that temptation, and I know people have it on their play sheet. I have that one play that'll get me what I need, but if you don't get it, you pretty much handed the game to the other team.
And he's going to have a 1st down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Jets 1st down. Well, as a head coach, that's where you're either the hero or the GOAT going for it there on 4th in that spot. He's the hero right now.
And he was in a pretty difficult position to make that decision, wasn't he? That spot on the field, what we call that, somewhat of a no man's land.
Yeah, a gray area.
Yeah, do you punt it? Do you go for the field goal? Or do you go for it? And this is something that he and his staff, discussed during the week. If we're in this type of a spot, are we going or not? Takes the emotion out of making the call.
Faking the give to Powell, now McCown. And his throw is incomplete. They were looking for Marshall that time, and that'll make it 3rd down.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion. Throwing is McCown on 3rd down. Right back for Marshall. This time it's complete. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. Well, I know you're toward the middle of the field here, but still, 4th down this distance, you got to punt it right.
That's definitely the first instinct because you say, okay, let's just play some field position, make sure we don't lose the game here, turn it over in a key spot. But if you feel really good about your trigger guy, if you feel great about him, you might want to leave the ball in his hands and let him work his magic.
And they hit him as he throws, as this one's going to go straight down to the turf. Incomplete. The Jets try it, but the 4th down play doesn't work. And the Bills are going to take over in excellent field position. Well, their first 4th down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness.
Taylor, he lost the football, and it's scooped up by the Jets. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. And a costly mistake. Coaches talk so much about ball security, and in overtime, so paramount.
Partner, do you ever wonder if maybe they talk about it too much?
Too much, yeah.
Doesn't seem like you can, but maybe by discussing it time and time again, and you know they overemphasized it here. It almost became self-fulfilling.
And any points beat them here, field goal or a touchdown now.
Well, add that play to his resume reel because he went to the Pro Bowl last year. That's how you go to the Pro Bowl. You make plays like that, big-time penetration, and throw people for losses.
And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Give him 7 on the play, and they're going to have a third down. Shotgun here for McCown. And just shedding him off there. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. They'll be left with just 1 remaining here at OT. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. They run with Powell. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. It'll be their 2nd and final timeout, remember, here in overtime. We'll be back. McCown to throw on 2nd down. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee.
Holding offense.
So apparently some grabbing of the jersey there on the O-line.
Yeah, just look in the interior, and that's where the penalty occurred.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. On 2nd down, here's McCown. Dumps off to Powell. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
And a short gain here down to the 22. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a 4th down. And I know you, with every carry, especially in overtime, you're just saying, if you're that ball carrier, hold on to the football.
Hold on to it, protect it, but not necessarily settle it. Because you're trying to get to the end zone. You're trying to end the game right here. And I know the defensive guys poking, clawing, breaking, trying to knock the ball free and protect their end zone.
Yeah, like you alluded to, especially this part of the field. Well, we thought this game would be a good one. It did not disappoint into overtime, and it took the field goal to win it.
And we always pay lip service to how important it is to play defense. And usually we focus on the big offensive pyrotechnics, right? But in this case, they got the ball back on defense, gave themselves a chance, and they capitalized on it with a victory.
And I don't care what distance that field goal is from in overtime. The knees are always knocking, but he pushed it through.
Not only that, think about your snapper, your holder. A lot of nerves for them, too, because they have to do their job in order to give him one last chance to put a foot to it.
So for the Jets, it's an important win for their postseason hopes as they at least get back to 4-5. And they'll get a few extra days to get ready for next week, where they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, for the Bills, the struggles intensify as they drop to 2-6 now on the year. And they'll try to make amends next week as they host the New Orleans Saints.